Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video we have some good news. So Brian Robinson and Chase Young are trending in the right direction in terms of coming back soon. So we're going to talk about that in today's video. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content on the road to 9,000 subscribers. So please help me get there. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. So we are heading into week 4 of the NFL season. The Commanders are 1-2, and both Brian Robinson and Chase Young are eligible. Chase Young eligible to come off the PUP list in week 5, and same thing with Brian Robinson off the non-football injury list. So those two players could be huge boosts for the Washington Commanders if they can come back week 5 or even week 6, because the Commanders, they could use another edge rusher for sure. I mean, they have not been getting enough pressure, especially at the edge position. Sweat, he has been getting double team. He's still yet to register a single sack. He's been good in the run game, but pass rushing wise, he has not been good so far. He's gotten some pressures, but not any sacks. And Payne and Allen have been solid, but they need someone else there. And having Chase Young back would be huge. And Brian Robinson, same thing. I think this run game is really lacking, and I think if you add Brian Robinson into the mix, it's really going to help things out, and I think it'll allow you to, Scott Turner to use Gibson more like they did in week 1. So I think both of those guys are very important for the Washington Commanders. And I think, Brian Robinson, I feel like he'll be back week 5, and I think Chase Young could be back within, by week 7, by week 8. They were both on the side field today, and they were both pulling sleds, so that's good to see for sure. We haven't seen that many videos of Chase Young. We've seen a lot of videos about, of Brian Robinson doing things, but Chase Young has been doing some things. It's just not being, recorded as much, not in front of everyone. This is what Ron Rivera said for Brian Robinson's return. He said there's no timetable for his return. Did say that every time they put a progress marker out for him, he keeps going forward. So that's great to hear there. And I think, again, Brian Robinson will come back soon. We've seen videos of him for a while now. He's has no sleeve, I believe, on his knee and leg. So I mean, that's great to see right there. And it looks like he's going to be back relatively soon. I think here's a quick video of him before the Eagles game, just out there running a route, catching a pass, not full speed obviously, but there's other videos of him running and stuff, stretching with the team. So I think even if we had a game, if he could play this week, he might possibly play, but I think next week there's a solid shot he plays. And again, that'll be a huge boost to the Commanders' run game, which has not been good at all so far. And Brian Robinson is, we saw what he did in the preseason, and I assume he's going to do more of the same in the regular season. It might take him a couple, the first week he's back, week 5, week 6, maybe he'll be getting less carries than Gibson, but I think once he gets going, he'll eventually get 55 to 65% of the snaps for the team. Here's another video. This is a longer video, but just him stretching with the team, and I think you can see Chase Young in there at some point. Maybe this isn't the video, but you see he's stretching with the team. Actually, he does have a sleeve in that video, but the other day he was going with no sleeve, and you can see Chase Young, he was just there doing some things. So yeah, there you go. They're both right next to each other doing some stretches. Chase Young's got, I don't know if that's a brace or a sleeve on his right knee, but these guys, I mean, I think they're going to be back soon, and we'll see. Chase Young maybe a little bit later than Brian Robinson, but, this is what John Keim said. So someone was talking about how, probably Chase Young's probably not going to come back soon, and then Keim said just because that's all you've seen him do does not mean that's all he's doing, basically. I think the guy was saying he's only, riding his bike. When they're working on the side field, we can't take a video. You see Robinson in pregame and with his guys on the field in practice. Young is doing much more back soon. So obviously Keim knows what he's talking about, and who knows what back soon is. And shout out to my guy Jared. Back soon could be week 5, or it could be maybe week 8. I really don't know, but I'm probably leaning, if he's saying back soon, I'm probably leaning more towards within the next 2 weeks. So, or like let's say week 5 or week 6. So maybe I'm, being a little bit too optimistic, but that would be absolutely huge for the Commanders, because if we can get Chase Young, the Chase Young we thought we were getting when we drafted him, or the Chase Young in the second half of his rookie year, that'll be a huge boost to this defense. This defensive line has not been getting enough pressure. This last game against Philly, they had Casey Toohill out, they had James Smith-Williams out, they had Daniel Wise out. Like, that sucks. That really sucks. And, they had really no pressure in that game. Montez Sweat, he has 10 pressures on the year, but pressures are great and all, but at the end of the day, you need some sacks, and he hasn't been getting any sacks. I think he had 1 forced intentional grounding, which I guess, almost is a sack, but still, Montez has to play better, and I think having Chase Young back will help him play better. I think that will definitely help him play better, because either Chase is going to get some of that double team, or Montez will continue to get the double team, and Chase Young will benefit from that. But nonetheless, Montez Sweat has to step up this week. He's got to have a big week. He's always played pretty well against the Cowboys. And then when Chase Young comes back, he also has to play well. And I think Allen and Payne have been playing solid. Not amazing, but Payne's had a couple really good games. Allen had a good first game, and then he's been injured a little bit the last couple weeks, but he's been solid as well. But we just don't have much depth, so these guys are playing super tired, and there's no one that can come in and play significant snaps to give them a break. These guys can play a couple snaps, but if you have, I guess Ridgeway in for 6-7 snaps in a row, it's not really ideal. But you can have, or you could have had, if you had Matt Ioannidis or Settle, you can have those guys in for 4 or 5 snaps in a row if you really need to. And I think that's just a mistake they made this offseason, not bringing back Tim Settle and Matt Ioannidis. It's already come to, it's already come back to haunt them, I think. And some of these other positions like linebacker, even DN already is, and cornerback, I think is going to really hurt them in terms of the depth there. And one other thing, I really hope they have Benjamin St-Juste as a starter on the outside, even if William Jackson is back. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I would love to have Benjamin St-Juste on the outside. Maybe if you want to keep William Jackson there, you have him on the outside and Kendall Fuller in the slot. Even though he played worse there last year, Benjamin St-Juste was great pretty good in my opinion in the slot there. One other kind of update, and I'll have the Brian Robinson video playing in the back for you guys while I talk about it, is that Wes Schweitzer might not play this game, so I think he's in the concussion protocol, so Nick Martin could be the starter this week. He's the only time he took snaps under, or Carson Wentz took snaps under him is during the Senior Bowl in 2016. He's Zach Martin, the All-Pro guard for the Cowboys. They're brothers. And quick irrelevant fact, but just a fact. Nick Martin is 2-0 against Zach Martin and the Cowboys. So just an interesting fact right there. And another tidbit is that they are going to be wearing their all-black uniforms, I believe, this week against the Cowboys. So, I'm going to be excited to see that. All-black uniforms, they haven't debuted yet. They haven't been selling them. So hopefully after the game or before the game, they're selling those uniforms, because I know a lot of people have been asking for it. And I think it'll be really cool to see those uniforms. You see the all-black uniforms, because not a lot of teams have that. So it'll be really cool to see. And then hopefully week 5 against the Titans, we see Chase Young and Brian Robinson back, because again, those will be huge boosts to the Commanders' defense and offense. I talked about in my video after the Jaguars video, when I was super optimistic about the offense, that Brian Robinson will be a huge boost to this team for sure, because he's just a better running back than Gibson. He's a better pure runner than Gibson. Gibson's vision isn't amazing, sometimes takes too many cutbacks, tries to do too much with it, like that negative 10-yard carry the other day where they were at the 4 and they end up being at the 14 the next play. Just cannot happen. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.